Welcome to the Light Up Podcast. I am your host, Amy Wilkinson. I'm an intuitive guide and soul mentor. And through this podcast, you will receive conscious conversations, powerful downloads, and soul-stirring activations that will both support and inspire you to tap into your intuition, follow that higher calling, and live a life aligned with your soul. Because you are here to co-create a life rich in abundance, freedom, and deep joy, and to unleash who you truly came here to be. And we're here to help you discover how to access that. So let's dive on in and light up. Welcome back, beautiful, to Light Up Podcast. I'm your host, Amy Wilkinson, and I am loving that you are here tuning into this episode. If you have clicked play on this episode, it is because you are called to the title of this episode. And I'm going to just ask you this question right away as we dive in. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to feel ready? Are you waiting to have more money? Are you waiting to feel fitter, healthier? Are you waiting for your husband to get a promotion? Are you waiting for your kids to finish school? Are you waiting? Are you waiting? Are you waiting? Because we all wait. And we've all been there, and maybe we do it and we hold ourselves back because life has taught us that it is scary to go into the unknown, to say yes to ourselves. So what am I talking about here? And if you know, maybe this is speaking to you right away, and you know in your soul what I am speaking to. Is there a thing, is there something that you have been putting off, that you have been putting on the back burner, that you have been kicking down the road, pushing to the side, because maybe you don't feel ready, or maybe you don't feel like the economy's right, it's the right conditions, whatever the stories are, what is it that you're waiting for? This might be making a shift in your job, leaving a job, starting a business. Maybe it's taking a trip that you've been talking about taking for so long. Maybe it's leaving a relationship. Maybe it's starting a new relationship. Maybe it is finally saying yes to putting yourself out there or starting the business, whatever it is, and only you know what it is. But the same principles apply here. This is going to speak to you wherever you are at, whatever you have been holding back. It is time, my friends. It is time right now. And I want to deliver some truth bombs in this episode today. So this is a great one to buckle up and just let yourself immerse in and let yourself receive. Because here's the thing. I love manifesting. I teach people how to manifest. I work with my clients around manifestation. So I love to coach on this topic, on this subject. And it is so powerful. And I have manifested incredible things consciously in my life. It works. It is brilliant. But right now, I want to speak to one of the biggest blocks, one of the things that holds people back so much, why this practice of manifestation doesn't work for so many people. And it's not because they don't have an intuition, because we all have an intuition, every single one of us. It is not because your intuition isn't speaking to you or showing you or guiding you. It's because they're not listening, or they're not at least taking the very important inspired action that's needed to allow this goal or this desire to come into fruition, to come into form. And a big part of the waiting is tied into fear. So this episode really continues on from the previous episode. If you haven't listened to that, you might want to pause this and go back to listen to that, where I speak to a very real fear response that holds us back. And, one of the big transitions, one of the big decisions, and then the subsequent transition that happened around selling my business and how, I couldn't listen to the voice of logic and reason in that particular arrangement, in that transaction, in that transition. I needed to go with what my intuition was telling me. And we don't often know why that is. And so, you might look back on your life, like the 5 regrets of the dying. And I just feel to share that here. If you're not familiar, they're worth checking in on them every now and again, because they really help to put things into perspective. Incredibly so. So the top 5 biggest regrets of the dying. 1, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected me to live. Number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Number 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. 4, I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends. 5, I wish I had let myself be happier. Isn't it amazing that all of these regrets of the dying, they are all choices. They're all choices. And yet we wait. So often we wait for something outside of our self to tell us, to confirm that we're ready. And life doesn't work that way. The things that I've started in my life, that I've created, the things that I've achieved, did I feel ready? Did I really feel fully equipped and fully ready? And my answer would be no. But was the feeling there? Was the knowing? Was the intuition there that I needed to just say yes and start? Yes, absolutely. Was the fear there alongside that? 100%. So I want to talk about this because now is the time, my friends. And it's no accident that I am recording this podcast today on Wednesday, the 8th of May, which happens to also be a new moon in Taurus. Now, I am no astrologer. I'm just putting that out there. But I do love to follow what is going on astrologically and start to tune into, how that impacts us. And I am also a manifester. So I do know that generally new moons are a great time to plant in new seeds of intention. This one in particular, I am told this is the moon of the year. The conditions are set, my friends, to really claim an audacious goal or audacious soul desires. And I say audacious because you want them to be big. You want them to activate that fear response. Yeah, like I expect it now. So as you write down those desires, as you feel into those audacious goals or dreams, let them trigger that response. That's okay. It shows you that you're on the precipice of expansion. It shows you you're on the precipice of something new. Okay? So if we want to get closer to our manifestation goal, we have to stop waiting. We have to stop waiting for the conditions to be perfect, for the weather to be right, for somebody else to change or for us to change in order to do that. Manifestation is really, it's a reverse engineering. And we have to be able to already see ourselves and tap into those soul desires, have an experience of that first and foremost, rather than waiting for the thing to give us that feeling, to activate that feeling in us. I won't go too much into that in this episode, I'm leaving that for another episode. But that's what the work is. It's reverse engineering it. So if there's something that you have been putting off, that you have been waiting for, I'm going to tell you in this episode by sharing a few key truth bombs. Why now is the time to act and to not delay it anymore. Listening to the limitations of the brain, of our mind, does not work. It is not going to get you further down the road to where you want to be. I'm going to say that again because this is so important. Listening to the loop of limiting beliefs and limiting thoughts of the brain does not work. If you're waiting to all of a sudden have the mind kick in and tell you you're ready, you are going to be waiting a really long time because the mind is not going to do that. As I mentioned in the previous episode, its job is to keep us alive. Its job is to keep us safe. It is going to do that by trying to keep us in the known and in the predictable, not in the unknown, where our desires exist, where those future potentials lie in that unknown space. And so this is why so many of us put off, and then we end up on our deathbed and we look back and go, gosh, I wish I'd done that. I relate to this a lot in terms of, one of the big things that we manifested over the last few years was making a transition to move out of the city, out of Brisbane where we were living, and to move up to the Sunshine Coast, a couple of hours north to the beach. And my husband and I, it was something we had been speaking about fondly over the years, that it would be one day we would do that. And we came up with different stories around that, which felt really valid at the time. It was, of course we'll wait until the kids finish school. Like that's what you do, isn't it? And when I kind of poke holes in that, I'm like, why? Why would we do that? And when I look back, I think it was because on some level I thought, falsely believed, that there was going to be more opportunities in Brisbane or better schools or whatever the story goes. And I can see that just was not truth. I mean, after having a couple of years now of living up the coast, it was the best decision we ever made. I am so, so grateful that I did it while our kids are young. They are living their best life. They are enjoying the ocean. They are learning so much about the ocean. They are, engaged in incredible activities. My daughter is a part of an amazing dance school. Incredible. And this is all, up at where we moved to. And so if I'd listened to my logical mind, we wouldn't be there. 100%. There is no way. It made no logical sense for us to do that. Our business was in Brisbane. So we need to start to be able to make brave decisions, and that, it's important that in that process that we are not only listening to our intuition, but we are starting to take the steps towards that. No more fucking around. You have to do it before you feel ready. Otherwise, you're never going to feel ready. And this is truth bomb number 1, my friends. Hi, beautiful light beams. I'm interrupting this episode very briefly just to let you know that I have a community of women, the most incredible women, who have come together at Light Path Collective because they don't want to navigate this spiritual path and the challenges and the obstacles and the pain points that we bump up against when we are on this road to expansion. They don't want to navigate that alone. And you become a part of the conversation. These beautiful, rich topics and themes, we explore them and unpack them and go deeper into them in the Light Path Collective membership. We meet for fortnightly 90-minute to 2-hour calls, so you get to receive here. You get to understand the how and the inner work that's involved with the expansion piece. And this work then propels us forward towards where we want to be and what we want to create and who we need to become. All of the work happens here inside Light Path Collective. I'm so happy to have this collective available, and I invite you to join us. You can join at any time, you can cancel at any time, and there is so much value in this portal. You get access to the replays, you get meditations, subliminals, all of the things that are here to support you on your journey, because you're not meant to do it alone. So come and join us. Head over to lightplace.com.au, click on the membership tab. There's info in the show notes. We would love to have you. Okay, back to the episode. Truth bomb number 1, you are never going to feel fully ready, fully equipped to take that leap, whatever it is. And that leap might be in the form of taking a trip, might be in the form of leaving a job, following your passions, doing what you love. I am particularly passionate about that. I feel like we are all here with a calling in our heart and in our soul, and it's our job to listen and to answer that call. So our mind will always tell us X, Y, and Z needs to happen. You need to do this first. You need to wait for this. Okay, so it's acting from that fear response, which I've spoken about before, which is designed to keep us alive and to keep us safe. So it's always going to tell us the ways that we need to wait, It's not the time now, and we just keep pushing it off and off and off. So if you are waiting for this day to come when you are in a place where you are free, finally free of the doubts and the fears and the overwhelms, in order to do what you're wanting to do, then you're never going to do it. That day is never going to arrive. So what does that mean? We need to be prepared to start where we are. And that might mean starting messy. That might mean failing forward a little bit. And that's part of it. And, I remember even in starting this podcast, did I feel ready? Hell no. Did I have doubt and fears and resistance? Fuck yes. Absolutely. Immense. Was I prepared to start messy and do it anyway? Yeah, absolutely. And then we discover, it's like taking the leap and growing the wings as you go down. We discover our wings as we go. We discover trust along the way. And when you take one step and then you see, oh my gosh, I've done it, I'm alive. Wow, here's the next step. And then the one after that. And, I know with us selling the house again, and I remember being at the beginning of that process and looking forward, and it felt like this huge big mountain to climb. And I remember speaking to this with my husband, saying, oh my gosh, we need to get the house ready. We need to sell the house. We need to then find a house up the coast. We need to find kids' schools. We need to, all of this. And if I just kept looking at everything that I had to do in that big mountain in front, and the how and the why and all of that, I would have gone into overwhelm. And I knew how important it is. I came back to my practice of one step at a time, one day at a time, checking in with my intuition. What do I need to do? And then let yourself be shown as you go along. All right, so we've got to be prepared to start to take the steps anyway, okay? Even when we don't feel ready. The people who manifest quicker are willing to fail faster. They don't let the voices hold them back. They don't let the stories hold them back. And that's really important. They do things before they feel ready. We need to be able to do things before we feel ready if we want to manifest those big soul desires, those audacious goals. So the second one, this is another beautiful truth bomb. I'm gonna come to this law of intention and desire. So if you're not familiar with this, a law of intention and desire states that within any desire that we have deep in our heart is everything we have within us to make that happen. We have within us the capabilities, we have the mechanics to co-create such a dream and desire. If it is planted in your heart, it is there for a reason, and it is waiting for you to receive it and to claim it. So if you're having those voices that say, who am I to do this? You would not have the idea. You would not have the feeling to even tap into that desire if you didn't have the ability and the capacity to bring it into form, into the 3D world. Everything starts as an idea. Everything starts as a thought. And then we need to find the courage to listen to our intuition and take action one day at a time. And then that's when we allow and we start to meet the magic and we start to meet ourselves on the other side of this. So that is truth bomb number 2. You've got everything that you need within you. Trust in that. Even if it doesn't look that way, start anyway. Do the thing anyway. But the next one is really important with this, which is number 3. You do not need to do it all at once. Okay. Maybe you're not ready for the full leap. Maybe you're not ready to walk into your boss's office tomorrow and say, here's my resignation, I quit. We have to do what we can metabolize. Well, and this is where titration is really important. It's like bit by bit. Okay, maybe I'm not jumping off the cliff, but maybe I'm starting to reduce my hours at work and bring more of my passion into my day, my hobby, the thing. And I'm just using that as an example, whatever it is. You don't need to do it all at once. You can do this in bite-sized amounts that feel manageable for your nervous system, because our nervous system has certain set points and there's only going to be a certain amount of risk that it is going to allow. So we're not wanting to put you into massive overdrive where it's just you're flooding the nervous system with incredible amounts of cortisol, because it does not feel safe. So we need to find what's that amount of safety that I need there, and what is that amount of risk. And really, I say risk, but to me, when we are following our intuition, when we're following the guidance that's in our heart, it's really the safest place that we can be. I now find it more riskier to not listen. But it is important along the way that we can calibrate our nervous system with that. Okay? So the how is going to be revealed to you as you go along, as you claim your audacious goals or desires. Trust and know that you will be shown the how. I always say this, the how is not your business. Whose business is it? It's God's business. It's Spirit's business. This is part of the co-creation. The mind is going to tell you that you need to have the how. And if you're someone that likes to have all your ducks in a row and crosses your I's and dots your T's, it's not that way, is it? It's crosses your T's and dots your I's. If you are someone that needs that level of certainty and to have it all mapped out, you're just not going to be able to do it like that. So we need to be willing to start to get comfortable with not knowing exactly how it's going to pan out. But this is when we dance with the magic. This is when we let the magic come in, when we surrender, when we hand it over and we say, okay, Spirit, who I'm co-creating with, show me, guide me. And your job then is to just listen each day. What do I need to do? And take that inspired action, take that half step, one day at a time. Okay, so you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to know what that next step is. When we moved house, if I kept looking up that big hill, I would go into overwhelm. I would go straight up then into my mind, which is what happens when we try to work this out. We go up into our mind. The answers aren't there. Come back into your body. Drop back into your body. Ask to be shown. And when you ask, you will always be shown. And this is where you utilize your intuition. And we all have different senses, psychic senses that we are perhaps more developed in. So it might be that you hear a thought or an idea. If there's more of that clairaudience, it might be that you get a glimpse or you see a vision or you see signs, literally signs out in the world pointing you in the direction that you need to go, or you overhear a conversation, or your friend speaks to you and says the words. Like, there are so many different ways that our intuition is communicating to us. It's not the problem often in hearing that, in knowing that, in feeling that. And I know this because in the work that I do intuitively with my clients, so if they're doing an intuitive reading with me and there's things that come up and there's guidance that I'm giving them, so much of the time, oh yeah, I've seen that. Oh yeah, I've heard that. Oh yeah, I know that. They know it already within themselves. So it's, how many signs are you waiting for? How many signs are you waiting for before you take the action? So it's not the intuition that's the problem. It's not that your intuition isn't showing you, isn't guiding you. It's just that you're not doing your bit. And that's the part of the co-creation. You still need to take inspired action. And I think of it as saying yes to the world, saying yes to the universe, saying yes to spirit. Okay, I'm ready. I'm doing this. It's like the spider weaving its web. It's the spider medicine. I saw so many spiders when I was in this process of selling the house and transitioning, and it's a beautiful way that spirits communicates to us through animals. And you know, if you know, you might be someone that receives the signs in that way, in that form, whether that's through insects or through birds. I mean, spirits speak through birds so much. But I was seeing spiders, and I know that spider medicine is about weaving with spirit, co-creating with spirit. But that's not sitting back and waiting for it all to fall in your lap and all to happen for you. You need to take those steps as well. And you can lean into trust, because our intuition speaks the voice of love. It speaks from trust, and that is why it is so safe to follow that. Our fear, our mind comes from fear. It speaks from fear. It takes us into our past. Our intuition leads us forward into the future. Where are those desires? If they're not here in your life right now, if those goals and those dreams aren't here in your life right now, it means that they're out in the future. They're in the unknown. And you need to start to open up and take steps towards it. So I hope that this inspires you, beauties. I hope that this inspires you to know that it is safe, that you don't need to wait anymore, that you can not feel ready and be ready all at the same time. And if that's where you're at, that's exactly where you need to be, and you can still start to take action. And it feels like May has a really beautiful, magical energy about it that is supporting us right now. It really feels like we're kicking into 2024, and now is the time. And here's the thing, if you are someone who struggles with this, if you are listening to this podcast and you're going, yes, this is speaking to me, I know I need to take some action, but I'm still feeling scared, I'm still unsure. You do not need to do this alone. I cannot recommend enough getting a coach or a mentor to support you in this, to help hold you accountable, to guide you, to inspire you, to support you in doing this. I have invested thousands and thousands of dollars in having someone to work with me over the years, and it has been the best investments that I have made, because they're the ones that I make on myself. And it might not be me, but find who your person is, who can help you on your journey, because you do not need to do this alone. but you also don't want to wait anymore because I know you're ready. And if it is me and I can support you on this journey, then please reach out. I would love to work with you. And this is a really fun practice manifestation, and it works. It works. I've manifested so many things in my life. I wouldn't be where I am today without knowing how to consciously harness this beautiful, powerful practice. So, yeah, reach out if I can be assistance. But if it's not me, find who your person is that can support you with this, because it will accelerate you when you have that support. So I hope all of this lands. I am also going to be going into this in more depth than what I do in a podcast. I've got a masterclass that's going to be coming up, a manifestation masterclass, where we're going to dive into this more and more of the tools and the practices and the how of manifesting. So make sure that you subscribe to my light list, which is my email newsletter, so that you can get all the details of that. Go to my website, lightplace.com.au, if you want to know more, and subscribe. Become a part of our community. There's beautiful different offerings that I have at the moment that I would love for you to be a part of, because you are important and you are needed right now, and there is no time to hold back anymore. We have done so much of that. We've held ourselves back. We've played small. We've stuffed ourselves into little boxes, and it is time for you to receive, for you to be all of who you came here to be, for you to shine your light, for you to share your gifts, and for you to live your life now. We've only got one life in this incarnation, one brief life. Really, if we're to zoom out, it's a brief life that we have here. Live it. Go ahead and read, listen to what those 5 regrets of the dying are, and let that inspire you right now to take the action. Let me know how you found this. Please like this episode or subscribe on the platform that you are listening to this on. If there's someone in your life that you could share this with, I would love you to do that. Share it with them, particularly if it's someone who tends to wait, waiting for the right conditions, waiting for the stars to align, waiting for everything to fall into place. And with this perpetual waiting, it's like the universe is just going to keep showing us more ways. And the thing is, with the stories, and the stories for me that I was telling myself around, oh, we need to wait until the kids finish school, or whatever the story that you're telling is, it's very convenient. It's convenient for the mind because it keeps you where you are. So no more listening to that. No more listening to the story. Start listening to your intuition instead of your mind, because that is what's going to guide you. All right. Love you guys. Enjoy this beautiful transit with a new moon energy. Enjoy the rest of your day, week. You're amazing. And go out there and take some beautiful action and get ready to call in the most magnificent, audacious goals and desires. I love you. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the follow button on whatever platform you are listening to it on. This ensures that this transmission can get out there into the world to those who need it, touch the hearts of those who could benefit from it. So please do that. Feel free to share it, review it, even better. And it just helps to really spread the love and keep this channel active. Thanks so much.